Hey everyone, welcome back to 5 at 5. We're in the book of Matthew, the Gospel of Matthew, and looking today at chapter 5. Now, chapter 5 starts this long discourse that Jesus shares and that Matthew records in the Gospel. Namely, this is kind of the heart of Jesus' message to the people as he is going about ministering to people. And it covers chapters 5, 6, and 7, and it's known as the Sermon on the Mount. Because Jesus goes up in the beginning, chapter 5, goes up on the side of the mountain so he can, with his disciples, and teach and those who are gathered there what he has to say. And it's also very reflective there, again, of the image of Moses. As Moses goes up to Mount Sinai to receive the Ten Commandments and give the covenant to the people of Israel, we see again this reflection of Jesus carrying on that persona of Moses going up to the side of the mountain to give the word of God to the people. In summary, the Sermon on the Mount, what Jesus is really expressing is a couple of things. First of all, what the true righteousness is. What is the true vision that God has for people, how we are to live, and really namely how we haven't lived up to it. And that encouragement that when it comes to our lives that we are to conform ourselves, be transformed, if you will, within the Word of God, to build our lives upon Jesus. And he gives us a beautiful picture of what our lives can be built on. But even though as he gives us his law, and it's kind of a subtle reminder that as he gives us law, he kind of points out how we are so easy to break God's law, that we don't live up to this vision in this image. And the rest of Matthew becomes the kind of the fuller story of how Christ is going to restore this image within each of us when he goes to the cross and dies and rises again. So as we get into chapter 5, it starts off with this section we call the Beatitudes. These are the blessings that Jesus reassures us. And it says this. Jesus says, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are those who are meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. And blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. And blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. And blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Blessed are those who persecute for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." And he goes on with these blessings, and a big part of these blessings is, one way to look at it is that it is God who will bless us even when the world won't. And there's going to be parts of our lives we're going to be in certain states like meekness, or hungry and thirsty for righteousness, or that you are the merciful one, that you are the pure in heart, that the world kind of looks down on that the world may not bless us, the world won't bless us, but we will be blessed because of God. And the real fulfillment of the Beatitudes, though, is that this is exactly what Jesus is. In fact, most of, if not all of the Sermon on the Mount is what Jesus is showing is that he has come to fulfill all these things for us. After the Beatitudes, he talks about we need to be salts of the earth. We need to be lights of the earth. We need to let our righteousness run supreme, even though maybe we haven't done such a good job with that. At least humanity hasn't done a great job with that, going all the way back to on Adam and Eve. But Jesus is here to show us and to live out for us how we are to live righteously for God. Because he didn't come to get rid of the law, as he says. He came to fulfill the law when we haven't done it. He didn't come to excuse us or lower the standard for us, but he came to keep that standard high and perfect and live it out for us. And he gives examples where we have messed up. He talks about the fifth commandment, do not murder. But he says, yeah, you may not have killed someone, but if you hated someone, if you have racism, if you're prejudiced towards other people, if you look down on other people, or just say in your heart, I don't like you, you have broken that fifth commandment. You have murder in your heart. Same thing with adultery. Adulteries don't commit any sexual immorality. And you may say, well, I've always remained pure in my life. I've always been married to one person. I never slept around. But Jesus says if you have lusted other people in your heart, if you have objectified people, you have already committed adultery. It goes on and it talks about our relationship with others, like retaliation. It's a common practice there. Like if, eye for an eye. If someone hurts you, you hurt them back. If someone doesn't respect you, you don't have to respect them back. And Jesus' response says, no. Instead, turn the other cheek. Walk a mile in their shoes. If they ask you for the cloak, give them or if they ask you for a tunic, give them your whole cloak. And that willingness of pointing others first, and he ends it with the ultimate thing of not curse your enemies, but instead love your enemies, bless your enemies, regardless of what they do to you. Jesus keeps going on with the Beatitudes, and again, what the picture here is what Christ is going to show us how to live, even though we don't do it. It doesn't excuse us. But that through the power of the Spirit, this is what we live up to, knowing that this is what Christ fulfilled for us to do. Thanks for joining us for 5 at 5. We'll continue with this discussion with the book of Matthew and the later videos to come. Remember, if you have any questions or issues or topics you want me to address, you can send those to me at 5@stmichaellutheran.org. Again, that's the number 5@stmichaellutheran.org. Remember, you've been blessed to be a blessing to others.